welcome to the first edition of News You Can Trust on Video. My name is Nina McLaughlin, and I'm the Communications Director for Maine GOP.
And I'm Jason Savage. I'm the Executive Director for the Maine GOP. The purpose of this News You Can Trust is to give you the news without the spin of the liberal media and have you get our perspective on the important issues of the day.
President Trump just named Judge Neil Gorsuch as his Supreme Court pick. What do you think about that?
I think a lot of people are really excited about this. Judge Gorsuch is like the type of will be the type of justice who interprets things based on how the founders wrote the Constitution. He's an originalist instead of being one of these progressive justices who believes in rewriting the Constitution. Our chairwoman, Demi Kazunas, put out a statement strongly supporting him. Right now it's just about getting Senator Angus King to come on board and support him.
Well, I would hope that he would, but right now my hopes aren't too high with Senator King.
Yeah, looking at the DNC, I don't know whether to describe it as a dumpster fire or a clown car right now. They can't seem to figure out what they're trying to do.
I think it's a little bit of both. Honestly, I'm not sure why they are creating such a fuss and protesting a man who in the past has been unanimously supported by bipartisan support.
You can go back and look and you see Senator Barack Obama was even supportive of this nomination. He was described as unopposable in the past when he was confirmed for the 10th Circuit. And so for the DNC now to be trying to play politics with this is just, it's bizarre.
It really is. And ultimately, my thought is they're not even showing up. They're not even coming to work. And for so many people in America, working class America, if you don't come to your job, then you're going to get fired. And we, the people, I think that we need to be calling Senator King. We need to be calling everyone who's pulling this, and we need to be telling them, go to work. Your vote, people voted you in, and you need to do your job.
I think we need to send New England Patriots head coach Bill Belichick down there to tell the Senate Democrats to do their job.
Yeah, I think we do. What do we have next on our list here? So this week, we did have some bipartisan work in our local politics here in Maine. We had Congressman Poliquin and Senator King introducing legislation that was resolving boundary issues and harvesting disputes up in Acadia National Park.
Yeah, I find this really interesting. It's nice to see that Representative Poliquin and Senator King can work together on something that really affects the local economy. And I think it's a good example as we're coming out of the Obama era of how the federal government was really missing the fact that industries such as this were getting affected in ways that they didn't even understand. Mm-hmm. And it's nice that we have this tradition in Maine where people from different parties, people of different beliefs can get together and work together on something like this. I just hope with Senator King, this bipartisan spirit carries over into his confirmation vote.
Yeah, I think that if all representatives in D.C. could do what we do very well here in Maine, especially regarding our natural resources, we do have a lot of bipartisan support. We've had Congresswoman Pingree has worked with Congressman Poliquin in the past. They've put through some things with bipartisan support. And we have Senator King working with Congressman Poliquin, and I think that this needs to be something that people take back to D.C. with them. And this shouldn't just be happening in our home state. And it just shouldn't be about issues and disputes about fishing. It should be regarding President Trump's picks.
Yeah, and what Congressman Poliquin ran on was that he'd work with anybody if it would help Maine families, help create Maine jobs. And he continues day after day to prove it. And I think that type of spirit is what's needed in Washington, D.C. I just hope he's traveling around on Capitol Hill enough that it's going to rub off on more people.
Yeah, but going back to the fishing, so ultimately it was the fact that it was a national park made it so that people couldn't fish in certain areas?
Yeah, there's been a lot of regulation that has taken place around national parks and monuments and things of that nature. And this actually kind of goes to the whole idea of why people have opposed expanding in the North Woods, is that these boundary areas that have been fished for very, very long periods of time, just generations, getting shut down by the federal government. And thankfully our local elected officials to Congress really understand this issue and they're willing to work together. We also now have a president who's not trying to strangle every region of the country with regulation. And that actually brings me to the next thing where we have President Trump's executive order that's requiring 2 regulations to be repealed for every new one that's put in place. And, if President Obama and his administration had been functioning under those types of rules, we wouldn't be dealing with this, and Senator King and Representative Poliquin could be working on something else.
Exactly. Another thing that Representative Poliquin had talked about, it wasn't this past week, but I think the week before, is he had a big announcement where he said that he wasn't taking government benefits, or the benefits applied to him as a congressman.
Yeah, one of the things I love about Congressman Poliquin is that he's really, really frugal. We kind of joke about some of the things, like the fact that he has a Murphy bed in his office.
I didn't see it when I was in D.C. I took a look around, but I didn't see the bed.
I've seen the bed.
They might have been hiding it somewhere under the candy.
I've seen the bed, and I've heard the stories of him being very careful with every dollar that gets spent on travel or anything else. And he announced this, but he's actually been refusing the benefits from day one. Mm-hmm. And I think it was nice to see that he was willing to make a statement about it now, let people know as Obamacare is being debated and thrown about, that he's never taken those benefits for a member of Congress. And he's really living up to what he said he was going to do, which is to try to save taxpayers' money.
He's definitely walked the walk and talked the talk, just like President Trump has been doing, and it's only been 14 days now?
Yeah, it's been a really, really busy 2 weeks. I don't know that any modern president has ever had such a busy time in his first couple of weeks.
More controversial.
Controversial when you're dealing with an opposition that is strictly working on trying to drive hate and discontent and drive protesters in the street. You're going to find opposition. And also, anytime you try to change a status quo, whether it's in Augusta or D.C., you're going to have people that are up in arms.
Yeah, definitely. Speaking of the opposition, and President Trump, of course, he's a hot topic. You and I have had a very interesting 2 days regarding specific people in Augusta wanting to defy President Trump and establish sanctuary cities.
Yeah, what a horrible idea to go out and think that you're going to turn a city into a sanctuary city just to defy the federal government and put federal dollars at risk, and who knows what else you're going to do. But we've actually seen a movement led by Representative Charlotte Warren actually get cities to start declaring themselves sanctuary cities. And we had an interesting day yesterday. You were right in the thick of it for hours and hours, and I was involved here and there in fighting that battle.
So let's start from the beginning just to make clear what happened, because there's been a lot of confusion. This started when we had heard from sources that Gardner had been looking into they had in their plans that they wanted to be what would you call it, a safe community for people seeking asylum and other refugees and possibly immigrants who aren't documented.
Yeah, so that kind of flows out of Representative Warren's public declaration that she was working with her fellow legislators, a couple of which represent Gardner, to start establishing sanctuary cities. And she actually, in her announcement, used the language in defiance of President Trump.
Right.
When you see that language, it's very, very clear what that means. So we were watching that, and we were getting these reports. And so we put out an action alert about Hallowell. The mayor was even signed on in Hallowell for a sanctuary city. And Gardner, which was talking about it but not using that exact language. In the matter of 9 hours, our work and the work of all of those people out there who got the action alert and took action, both cities are on the record now declaring that they're not going to seek sanctuary status. And Representative Warren has deleted her call to action and has denied that was what she meant at all. So it was really great work from the grassroots level and the party staff here at headquarters to really get the message out on an issue. I also want to say I just talked to the mayor of Gardner, had a great conversation, and we've been exchanging some words back and forth, but it was really nice to get on the phone with him, understand each other a little bit better, and have that line of communication open for the future.
I'm glad that both cities have made it very clear that they are not seeking sanctuary city status. I will, however, I do have reservations about Representative Warren, especially since she changed her story after she was on the books, as she told the Bangor Daily News when they asked her if what she meant was a sanctuary city, and if she was going to ask city councilors to bar the police department from cooperating with federal immigration officials. And she replied and told them that that was exactly what she was thinking. But now she has said that she's not looking into a sanctuary city. I think that that's concerning for us here at the party. It's concerning for the people who are involved with the Maine Republican Party. And while we're moving forward with positive results from all this interaction, and neither city is looking for sanctuary city status, I am going to say that I think that we do need to definitely be aware of what Representative Warren's intentions are, and Senator Bellows, and we just have to keep a close eye on them and make sure that hopefully they don't try to sneak this in another city in Maine.
My two takeaways from this are, one, liberals call themselves progressives because people got tired of failed liberal policies. And we need to be careful that the sanctuary city doesn't become a sanctuary city under another name. The second takeaway for this is people need to be involved at their local level. They need to be at their town meetings. They need to be at planning sessions. They need to be talking to legislators. They need to know what's going on. Because you could very well wake up one day and find out that you've got some crazy resolution that is about to be voted on, and you don't know what's going on. So I share the reservations about Representative Warren. The sentiment behind her announcement was very, very much about being defiant to the federal government in immigration laws. And what a horrible, horrible idea to put all of your local residents and property taxpayers at risk just so that you can make a political issue about a president that you disagree with.
It's very selfish.
It's a very selfish thing, and I have to believe that at some point it comes down to them getting a TV interview or becoming, being hailed as the next liberal hero. But those property taxpayers would be stuck paying the bill.
Yeah. So that's all we have for this edition of the News You Can Trust video. But before we go, what is your favorite restaurant or store in Gardner or Hollowell?
The Liberal Cup. Believe it or not. Hey everyone, we wanted to give you a quick update from inside the party. As some of you may know, this past weekend we had our leadership elections. It was held here in Augusta, and we elected a new chair, Dr. Demi Kazunis, a dentist from Saco. She has practices in Skowhegan and Scarborough, and she does a lot of work with people, specifically with disadvantaged youth across the state, providing free care. We're really excited about having Demi on board. She's already in and working. In addition to that, we elected Ryan Lorraine as our vice chair, and our treasurer, Ben Lombard, probably had the best speech at the state committee meeting, was unanimously reelected as our treasurer, and our secretary, Barbara Harvey, as well was unanimously reelected. So it was an exciting time this past weekend.
Chair Demi Kazunis is already off to a great start. She has been fundraising. She has been on the road meeting elected officials, meeting people who are considering running for office. Her energy is just amazing. She's got so much energy, and she's just dove into the position head first, and we're so excited to have her.
She's been almost like a tornado around the office the first couple of days. It's really exciting.
It is, and her energy, she just brings everyone's moods up. It's great. Another exciting development coming from inside Maine GOP is we just launched a new website. It was developed in-house, so we saved thousands of dollars by doing it ourselves. And you wouldn't be able to tell by looking at it. Go and visit mainegop.com and take a look at some of our new features. Thank you for watching News You Can Trust with the Maine GOP.
We welcome any comments, complaints, and suggestions. You can send suggestions for news articles or comments on the video to contact@mainegop.com. And in closing, I'd just like to say, we know we're not reporters, but we're also telling you the truth.